She stood on my porch with a smug smile, pointing at the lake cabin I built with my own hands. "This place is going down," she said coldly. "You didn't pay your HOA fees, so we're demolishing it today." I almost laughed. This cabin wasn't even in her HOA. It sat on private land I inherited from my grandfather. But before I could speak, I heard the rumble of engines. A demolition crew, already pulling up with heavy machines. My stomach tightened as I watched her wave them closer like she was some kind of queen giving orders. "Stop!" I yelled, stepping forward. "You don't have the right!" Karen, because that's what she was, the definition of it, smirked and shoved a stack of fake papers in my chest. "See this? You're years behind on fees. This property belongs to the HOA now, and if you resist, I'll have you arrested." The crew hesitated for a moment, looking between us. I could see the doubt in their eyes, but Karen barked again. "Start the job! Tear it down!" And just like that, one machine moved toward my cabin. My stomach tightened as I watched her wave them closer like she was some kind of queen giving orders. "Stop!" I yelled, stepping forward. "You don't have the right!" Karen, because that's what she was, the definition of it, smirked and shoved a stack of fake papers in my chest. "See this? You're years behind on fees. This property belongs to the HOA now, and if you resist, I'll have you arrested." But as the first machine's claw reached for the porch, my brother stepped out of the cabin, badge shining under the sun, and the look on Karen's face finally cracked.
Karen froze for a second, her smirk faltering as my brother's badge caught the light. He didn't have to say a word. His presence alone carried weight. The demolition crew stopped mid-move, their machine engine still rumbling but their eyes wide, waiting for what came next. Karen tried to recover, laughing nervously. "Nice trick, flashing a fake badge doesn't scare me." But then my sister came down the steps, holding a radio in her hand. She pressed a button and a voice crackled through, "Unit 4 standing by. Do you want us to move in?" Karen's face went pale. She stuttered, "What is this? Some kind of joke?" I leaned closer so only she could hear me. "No joke. You just tried to steal and demolish federal property, and you did it in front of agents who record everything." Her fake confidence wavered, but she still tried to bark orders. "Don't stop! Finish the demolition! He's bluffing!" The crew didn't move. One guy even shut off his machine and muttered, "Ma'am, I'm not going to jail for this." Karen spun around, furious, but before she could shout again, my father stepped outside. He was calm, older, but when he opened his wallet, the badge inside made Karen stumble back. He spoke softly, but it cut through the noise. "Karen, you just trespassed on federal land. Do you know what that means?" For the first time, Karen had no comeback. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I glanced at my family, then at the trembling Karen, and said the line I knew would stick. "You thought we were just a family in a cabin. We're the family the HOA should never have crossed."
Karen's silence didn't last long. Her pride wouldn't let her back down, not in front of the crew. She straightened her shoulders and hissed, "Federal agents or not, this land falls under HOA rules, and rules are rules." I could see her hands shaking as she fumbled with her phone. She dialed quickly and shouted loud enough for everyone to hear, "Get over here! Bring the officers now!" A few minutes later, 2 SUVs pulled up, lights flashing, but something felt off. The uniforms looked cheap, their badges too shiny. Fake cops! Karen was really doubling down. She waved at them like a general summoning her army. "Arrest him! Arrest all of them! They're impersonating federal agents!" The fake officer stepped forward, reaching for handcuffs. The demolition crew looked shocked, whispering among themselves. I didn't move. My family didn't move. Instead, my sister quietly pressed her radio again. And then, from the woods behind the cabin, 3 real federal vehicles rolled out, dark, unmarked, the kind that make hearts drop. Real agents stepped out, armed and steady, and the entire lake went silent. One of them spoke firmly. This operation is now under federal investigation. Everyone stay exactly where you are." Karen's fake cops froze like statues, their bravado draining instantly. The demolition crew backed away from their machines, hands raised, muttering that they wanted nothing to do with this. But Karen? She still tried. "No, you don't understand. I'm in charge here," she screamed, pointing at my cabin. "This property belongs to the HOA." The lead agent looked at her, then at me, and asked calmly, "Do you want to press charges now or after we put her in cuffs?" Karen's face turned ghost white.
I opened my mouth to answer, but Karen beat me to it, her voice shrill and desperate. "You can't arrest me. I have proof." She snatched the stack of fake papers from her bag and shoved them at the federal agent. "See? He hasn't paid fees in years. This cabin is ours now." The agent didn't even bother to take the papers. He just raised an eyebrow and handed them to my brother, who flipped through them slowly. After a few pages, he let out a low laugh. "Karen, these documents are photocopies from 3 different states. You didn't even bother to change the letterheads." The demolition crew started chuckling nervously, trying not to get caught in it, but Karen's face burned red. "They're real," she insisted. "You all just don't want to admit I'm right." Before anyone could stop her, she stormed toward my cabin porch like she owned it, and then she kicked the door open. My wife, who had been inside with our little boy, screamed. Karen shouted at them, "Get out, you're trespassing," and reached for my son's arm. That was it. I moved so fast the ground seemed to shake. My hand clamped on her wrist before she could touch him. For a second, she looked straight into my eyes, and I saw it hit her. She finally realized this wasn't some game she could control. "You just crossed the line," I said, my voice low, trembling with rage. "Fake fees are one thing, fake cops are another, but you don't ever put your hands on my family." Karen tried to jerk her arm free, but she couldn't. The agents closed in, real cuffs flashing, but before they could lock her down, Karen pulled her last card. She screamed at the top of her lungs, "Help! They're kidnapping me! Somebody call 911!" For a split second, even the birds around the lake went quiet.